Hola, chicas. Welcome to Encuentras Your Voice podcast, where Latinas share their journeys of cultural identity, from pain points to thriving into their authenticity. I'm your host, Consuelo Crosby, coming to you every Wednesday, 5 p.m. California Coast Pacific Time, welcoming you to this comunidad of amazing mujeres, reminding all of us of the beautiful presence we have in the world. Today is our Pod Club episode, 15 minutes of highlighting our amazing guests from last week and the beautiful gems of life lessons that apply to so many of us, regardless of our journeys. Last week, we had the honor to listen to Bianca Alba, Bolivian founder of This Latina Travels, both podcast and website, where Bianca shares her insights and resources for women, especially Latinas, traveling the world. But what she does is still second to who she is. And Bianca's story will have your tears just welling up. Throughout her life, Bianca has always been there for her comunidad, in gratitude and assistance, from using her own resources to purchase valuable products for Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, to ensuring the community has the best medical resources available under the CDC, even in difficult situations. It's all about people with Bianca. Now, Bianca is admittedly a mushpot, a lover of love, and goddess of caring for anyone and everyone, especially her inner Niña. And this is one of the main life lessons we learn from this world traveler who has been on 6 of the 7 continents and eager to go to every country in the world. But it didn't come easy, especially given that she came to the U.S. as a child, leaving her beloved Bolivia and landing in a very prestigious part of the country, wondering just how to navigate a society that didn't look like her. And just like many of us, she found her Latina flair in university, the catalyst for her fireball enthusiasm, and she never looked back. She is all that and more. And what better person would you want giving you travel advice than someone who has people's backs 24/7? Now, if you haven't listened to our full-length conversation of last week's episode, no worries. This one stands alone. We are pulling out the life lessons learned and how they apply to anyone. And today, it is all about healing your inner Niña, the person you were born to be, that may have been put aside to deal with the situation that life gave her. As a first gen, as an eldest or only daughter, do you even realize the burdens and responsibilities that were put on you as a little one, long before you even realized they were typically for adults? Do you remember your dreams, your wants and desires that were held back so that more immediate demands could be dealt with? Or maybe it was pure survival mode, and living a life greater than what you knew was just too big to dream. Well, Bianca understands all of that and is inviting you to balance that out by discovering a new joy in your life. A joy found in the comunidad of women traveling the world. Yes, traveling, because as Bianca shares, there often is no chance of traveling as a child when you're a first gen, caught up in trying to survive, to discover one's identity, and maneuver an unfamiliar society leaves little to dream of living a larger life. But somehow, I think Bianca always knew there was a magical life beyond her known. Even her stickers say, "Our parents traveled out of necessity. We travel for joy." You can hear it in her voice, in her stories, in the way she has one foot forward to another country and one foot firmly planted in the community she loves. It's as though her little Niña knew there was a greater life ahead of her, yet she loved and appreciated the life she had. Always ready to go, always in gratitude for what she has, and always figuring out how to be of service to those around her. All this energy, compassion, determination to care for others is wrapped up in a gorgeous strength on the outside, pulsing with love on the inside. In her episode, we learned how she wanted to become a medical doctor and ultimately majored and mastered in public health in order to have a greater impact on a larger community. Thankfully, her insight and intuition led her to exactly where she was most needed. Isn't that always the way? Listen to your intuition. The universe does have that plan. Now, you may still be wondering, what does healing my inner Niña have to do with traveling? Why would traveling help me with past pain and struggles when it's so difficult anyway? I hear you. It may seem like an expensive way to run away from your reality. But there is a magical twist to it that you may not have considered. Think of times when you were little that you may have been told no, or not to be a certain way, to stay quiet and not disrupt, to not draw attention to yourself, to stay close to the family so you can support them, or be another adult to your parents when you were still only a child, and never travel alone, or even with girlfriends, let alone and never with a boy. It's all you knew, right? And probably this way of life framed you, your little Niña, in ways that just became your known. Perhaps now you're reserved. You stay to the side, maybe consider yourself an introvert. Or you work so hard trying to be a perfectionist and make sure everyone is taken care of, even if it means you're not. But is this really who you are? Or is this who you had to become to survive the situation you were put in? Who is that little girl that came into the world with grand dreams that brought her so much joy? The excitement she envisioned of living her best life. Your inner Niña, who is still here asking you now, do you remember me? Well, a fantastic way to rediscover your inner Niña, as she was born to be, is through travel. And as Bianca emphasizes, and literally shows us how, and I quote, you don't need to be a millionaire. You don't have to have a partner or be in a relationship. You don't need. You can travel solo. And isn't that the perfect situation to rediscover yourself? Free from the expectations of others, free from the framework that you grew up with, free to do whatever you want in a place where no one knows you, judges you, or tells you you can't. Of course, unless you're breaking the law. But we're a long way from that, so don't worry. If you could do anything that your soul desires, what would it be? And where do they do it? Where is it natural to express yourself the way your soul tells you? Go there. Be there. And who better to guide you than a mujer who has walked in your footsteps? A First Gen Latina, an eldest daughter, taking on the responsibility of the family, destined to be an achiever, a barrier breaker, the first one to get a college degree, one of the 2% earning a master's, excelling in her career, wanting to care for everyone around her, especially her comunidad. Yes, all of it. And yet, Bianca is here to empower you to seek joy for yourself, to step out into the world. Bianca is inviting you. Remember that from Alexa Martinez a couple weeks ago? She is inviting you to go out in the world solo and discover who you are when no one is demanding or expecting anything from you. Bianca's invitation goes even further, though. She literally is helping you get there by providing valuable resources and guides and personal experience so you feel safe in making decisions. After all, who more could you trust to help you take a walk out into the unknown than a woman who has made it her career to care for and assist others in getting the best resources for their health and well-being? Trust. Trust yourself. Bet on yourself, as Bianca says, to discover another piece of you that has yet to step out into the world. Invite your inner Niña to explore a world she may not know yet. Set her free to live the life she may only have dreamed of. And with that, you help heal pain points that made her feel othered, belittled, or alone. And with healing, your inner Niña rises again to claim the dream she had with a newfound freedom to be anyone she wants to be in a world so large, she is bound to find the comunidad who supports her and her dreams. Bien viaje. Now, before you go off researching where to travel to on this Latina Travels website, remember to join us next week with an amazing mujer who is bringing her stories to life on the big screen. We are kicking off Pride Month with Cecilia Romo, an emerging first-generation Mexican-American queer filmmaker whose work spans from directing, writing, producing, and editing to creative writing and poetry, and everything in between. Cecilia's goal is to disarm tropes and create authentic Latina representation with a queer and female-focused lens. Now, that has got to be the ultimate goddess and representation where you really want her to thrive in this niche that is so forgotten. Born, raised, and based in Sacramento, California, she is passionate about filmmaking as a diverse and inclusive space and highlights the beauty and complexities of marginalized voices through her storytelling. And what a story she has to share with you about her own life with an act of kindness so big that many of us will never be asked to do it. Her compassion and faith in her journey are so admirable and humbling. You can only imagine the beauty she sees in life, and yet the power she has to bring these stories to the world. So join us next week as we kick off Pride Month with Cecilia Romo, bringing the voices, joy, and spirit of this community to the big screen for all of us to celebrate and learn from in gratitude. Step into your truth, ladies. Ciao. We love that you have subscribed to this podcast and continue to champion women who understand the life of all things Latina. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Encuentras Your Voice podcast so you don't miss a single episode. They will automatically drop into your listening device each week. And we'd really, really appreciate if you take a moment to add to the reviews that we already have. Tell us what you like, tell us what you're hoping to hear, and we will get there. Share this with your friends and family to help us grow our comunidad, and keep following us on our social media. To Encuentras Your Voice, we are so grateful to you for helping us grow this community and would love to learn of all the amazing Latinas who you know are creating the world we thrive in. So reach out to me on social media at Encuentras Your Voice, and let's keep leaning into our authenticity in pride. Help us make Encuentras Your Voice the place where you are 100% represented.